Alright, so in this video, we're going to be using our calculator to figure out our simple interest. Okay, so anytime you borrow money either from a bank or a private lender, you will need to pay interest on top of your principal. Okay, now if you know what your principal is and if you know what your rate as well as your time is, you can figure out your simple interest using this calculator. Okay, so let's say your principal is $45,000. Okay, and your rate is 5%. Time in months. Okay, let's say you've been given 6 months to pay your debt. Okay, notice the figure over here for exact interest, 1125, and your ordinary interest, 1125 as well. Okay, now let's say your time in days. You've been given a set amount of days to pay off your debt. Okay, and this figure is 95 days. Okay, notice your exact interest over here, $585.62, and your ordinary interest based off 360 days, okay, which is $593.75. The difference between these two, $8.13. Okay, now if you know what your rate is, okay, if you know what your time is, and if you know the exact interest, you can figure out your principal using this calculator. So let's say your rate is the same as the previous example, 5%. Okay, let's say your time in days is 95 days. And let's say your exact interest is $585.62. Okay, so notice this calculator figures out your principal, which is roughly $45,000. Okay, apart from that, if you know what your principal is, if you know what your time in months is, okay, and if you know what the exact or ordinary interest figure is, you can use that information to figure out your rate. Okay, so let's say your principal is $45,000 from the previous example. Okay, your time in days, 95 days. And your exact interest over here, this is $585.62. Okay, notice your rate over here, which is roughly 5%. Okay. Okay, you may do the same for ordinary interest. Let's say your ordinary interest is $593.75. Okay, notice this calculator automatically figures out your rate, which is 5%. Finally, if you need to know what your time is based off your principal value, your rate, and your exact interest, you may use this calculator to figure out your time as well. So let's say your principal value, again, is $45,000. Your rate is 5%. Okay. And your exact interest is the same as over here. Okay, which is roughly $585.62. Okay, so notice the time in months, which is roughly 3 months over here. And the time in days, this is roughly 95 days. Okay, so this is how you use this calculator to figure out not only your simple interest, but also your principal, rate, and time.